Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to BS session number 79. From little baby pop guns to shotguns to big old lever guns. We'll see if there's any agreement at all when it comes to the ideal truck gun.
But some of these bullets, as you saw, have an incendiary device on the tip of it, which is a heat-seeking device.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Welcome to your weekly dose of BS, the Holistically Speaking podcast.
You guys have no idea how close I came to saying from the little baby poop guns.
Only off by one letter.
For some reason, that's how my brain read it. Luckily, my mouth caught it in time.
That'd be a level of violence that I would not wish upon my worst enemies.
I think that's in the Geneva Convention.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, no baby poop guns. If you're going to shoot feces at other combatants, it has to be from adults.
Right. Or maybe we could just come up with truck monkeys. Other people have trunk monkeys. We'll have truck monkeys flinging poop from here to Alberta.
Great thing is they're good at holding on the outside of the vehicle, so they got better mobility and aim.
As long as it's a
can only
Toyota
assume.
Hilux.
Right.
Yeah. That's another good use for the headache rack.
I regret bringing it up. Sorry.
Then we've done our jobs.
Mm-hmm.
You've done your jobs.
Hold on, Nancy Vasquez. Our one fan tonight.
Isn't her name Valle?
Well, her full name is Nancy Edith Vasquez Valle Rouse.
It is Valle. Okay.
The third.
The third. I thought you said Valle. Esquire.
No, I just said Vasquez.
Oh, I thought. Oh, well, whatever. Hey.
Yeah. Anyway.
Neither here nor there.
So, welcome to BS session 79.
Yeah. Before we move along, let's make an announcement. Do you want to make the announcement, Kurt? Or do you want me to make the announcement?
You're good at announcements. You can give her.
Okay. Well,
you know what mine would be. It's like, hey, we got these guys. Let's go.
We got these two Utes.
The two Utes.
Okay, well, you guys may have noticed that we have had Derek and Mike joining us a lot more recently, and there's a reason for that. It's because Banyak Precision is officially going to be joining us on the BS podcast in perpetuity as partners and contributors and co-hosts and so
Doers of stuff.
the doers of things. You guys can officially say welcome to them and welcome Mike and Derek officially.
Wait a minute, can we do it? Unite. Everyone put their hand in the
No,
corner.
Oh,
no,
hey, listen,
no,
God damn it. I
no,
thought we went
unite.
over this in the ground rules. No.
You fucked it. You fucked it hard.
God damn it. Strike one.
Oh.
And you know what? They're going to demonetize our episode because I said fuck twice, well, three times in the first 5 minutes.
Mm.
We gotta
Anyway.
revisit the terms and conditions, I guess.
Well, I'll just add like 5 minutes of nonsense before uploading it tonight.
As
no, it
as
auto
you usually
uploads.
do.
Doesn't matter. We're screwed. Okay. Hey, let's
tried.
pay bills. We tried. We failed.
All right.
Let's move on. Who's going first here?
I'll take it. Tonight's show, as always, is brought to you by EM Precision Rifles in Leduc, Alberta. Building Canada's finest precision rifles. Commission a build today at emprifles.ca.
Who's next?
Bolt Action Coffee, bringing specialty coffee to the precision shooting world. Order coffee and merchandise at boltactioncoffee.com.
Who's next?
I'll go. Call sign 66, Canada's best rifle training. Welcome to the Brotherhood. Book a course now at callsign66.ca.
And Odell Engineering, pick up a Canuck shotgun or Bergera rifle from your local distributor and tell them Phil sent you. Look them up at odellengineeringltd.com.
And Apex Optics. When you buy Apex, precision comes standard. Check out all the fine competition rifle scopes, red dots, and binoculars at apexoptics.co. Be sure to check out the pre-sale specials for the new Apex Optics binoculars and red dots. We have the 8x42 binos. Those are summits as well, aren't they?
Yeah,
They're all summits, the
they're all called,
binos? I
I think
thought
they're
so.
all called
Okay.
summits, yeah.
Mm-hmm. We've got the regular Summit 15 to 50. Let me start again. Summit 15 by 56 binos, the Summit Pro 2 15 by 56 binos with the TR2 reticle. Summit ED2 15 by 56 with double extra low dispersion lenses. That's a mouthful, but it's all there.
Sounds impressive.
Also, they have their Atom Red Dot 1x28 equipped with smart light auto brightness technology and the Fusion Red Dot 1x30 with variable dot size multi reticle system. Check them out, apexoptics.co. I believe it was just today they sent out the what is it, the
Pre-order.
pre-sale special.
Yeah.
apexoptics.co.
Yeah,
It
we're
is.
already in marketing. We're moving on from the marketing term of pre-order to the euphemism pre-sale special.
Wait, did I get that wrong? Was it a
Nope.
pre-order? Was it a pre-sale?
It's a euphemism for the same thing. They both mean the same. What's the difference?
I don't know.
I can't imagine there's any difference.
Well, it says pre-order on the email that I got.
Oh, see,
dang it!
They both, they're yeah. See, Vanya says it's tomato.
Yes.
Listen, I just want to get it right.
Hey, so Derek, or was it you
Yeah.
that was saying you were getting the red dot, or was it Mike?
I should have one coming.
Which one are you getting?
It's I can't remember if it's the Atom or the Fusion.
He just said, "Hey guys, I want a red dot."
Just toss me a red dot, whatever
Maybe
sort.
Vanya will know. He's kind of one of the people that coordinated that charity sticker draw. So we'll see.
Oh, that's right. You're getting the red
Yes.
dot on the gun that you won. Yeah.
The Daria.
Which one was that?
It was the Atom.
I mean,
says Vanya.
no, the gun that he won. Which one of the? How many?
I have to buy a second safe, I guess.
It was the TM22, right?
With a very nice camo job on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good Lord. There should be a limit.
So other than that, let's talk. I want to talk about this real quick. So, Rooster, you just recently got a hunter scope.
I did. Yes.
And Derek and Mike, you each have a hunter already, right?
I don't have a hunter yet.
Oh, you don't have a hunter yet, but Derek, you do.
Yeah, I have the hunter as well. Yeah, I've had it on my Bagheera for 9 months now. So
okay, and I just got a hunter, and I realized that if you have low rise, like that hunting clamp style,
like
rings.
the tally type 2-piece rings.
Yeah.
You mean the wrong type
they're
of
not
rings?
actually like that. They're the what?
The wrong type of rings. Like the split should not be this. It should be this.
100% agree.
Or the 45 is also good too.
And
it's not tomato.
This is a 45 because it clamps at the top and then it clamps partway down the rings. They're Vortex. They're discontinued. They don't make them anymore. I've had them for my other Vortex hunting scope. I've had them on my hunting rifle forever, probably 8 years or more now. And well, not on that rifle, but with that scope. And so I figured, hell, I'll just use the same rings for the Apex. And so this is what I learned. Don't do that. So when they say that it is a precision hunting scope, you should get precision rings for it. Because I'll bet you that if I got some good precision rings, even if they were low rise, I would probably be able to turn my magnification adjustment, which I can't right now because it's bottoming out on the Picatinny rail on my Sig Cross. So that's my fault.
Oh, young Padawan, you have so much to learn. I have so much to teach you.
Although Vanya
Oh,
might have a solution to that problem, it sounds like as well, though.
well,
So
he's got to get them to me
Hello.
like right now
So
because
look at the second
I'm
part
going
of his
out
comment
tomorrow to
there.
get another pair. What's that?
The second part of his comment, you completely ignored that. Throw that back up there.
We might have some in the works. Yeah.
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 That's interesting. I didn't know.
mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, yeah, I would love to see them, but I need them by tomorrow.
Keep your eyes peeled for new rings coming out of apexoptics.co.
I
Tomorrow.
could probably hotshot you some hose clamps that would probably kind of do.
Well, you know, right now it's kind of stuck on 3 power, and I could just shoot on 3 power for a while. No, I'm gonna
You know
go. I'm
what?
gonna get some. I'm gonna get some. What are they called? The MDT. Or sorry, I don't know. I'm not gonna get the MDT. I'm gonna get the Vortex. What do they call them? PMC Pro rings or whatever the hell they call them. Is that what they call them? You guys know?
I'm not up on my Vortex rings.
Oh, come on now.
I like the burst ones because you can make it do the cant thing and you just change the little inserts out.
Man, now I gotta get burst rings and
I got these
non-vortex
gems
rings.
right here that I've had for about 20 years.
Aren't those the Vortex like co-witness rings or something?
No, I don't know. They're the Vortex Tactical 30 millimeter extra high ring for
Yeah,
extra cool.
that's the stupid little square in the middle is so you can co-witness iron sights through the scope.
I don't know.
Yeah, don't offer those to me. I don't want them.
Come on, take them. I don't know why. I'm ashamed to have them, honestly.
Anyway, I guess the moral of this story is if you have a precision rifle scope, even if it is a hunting scope, you're going to have a nice beefy magnification knob. So don't put low rise little clampy hunting rings with that scope.
The clampy
And
ones.
also a big shout out to the Hunter and their design feature is the large turrets. I love
Yeah.
that feature for a hunting scope because you're out there and all of a sudden it's cold and you got gloves on. Those turrets are nice and beefy for grabbing on with gloves. So,
Well, that's this is going to be my first hunting scope ever that has exposed turrets. So
You'll never
that'll
go
be
back, I'll
interesting.
tell you that.
yeah.
Well, you know what else is now I have to practice Milrads.
We knew you'd get there eventually, Chris.
Yeah, this is the second Milrad scope I've ever had. First one that I've ever actually owned. And yeah.
Yeah, we knew you'd come around. I can't believe I've had this much patience with you, to be honest, in that regard.
That's funny. Okay, so also
Let's get to the rest of it.
Ripstone Gunsmithing,
Yep.
craftsmanship done right.
If you
Contact
want
Oscar
some
at
rings
Ripstone.
properly installed,
Call Oscar.
contact Oscar.
He'll put them on good and straight. Contact Oscar at ripstonegunsmithing.ca and breathe life back into any firearm.
The Shooting Edge.
Oh, there he is. There you go.
Yeah. The Shooting Edge in Calgary, Alberta, home of the Sterling Arms R18, an indoor range, training courses, a new 6-lane axe throwing bay, and the One Shot, One Spill Cafe. Find them on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, X, and their website at theshootingedge.com.
Bueno.
Who's
You know
next?
what's occurred to me pretty much every time we do the sponsor reads, and then quickly forgotten about after every single show is, for the Shooting Edge, we go through their Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, X, blah blah blah. Everyone else we only mention their websites. We should probably spruce that up a little bit.
We should do that.
Yeah.
And now we have to
Yeah.
because we set it out in public.
There's accountability now.
Did you just lick your pen? It's a good
It's
thing
it
they
was
don't put.
symbolic.
It's a good thing they
Symbolic.
don't
Like I
put
was getting
lead
to
in
work.
ink anymore.
Now I have a blue tongue. It's a party trick.
Okay. Who's doing our last read?
I'll take her. So
Okay.
we also have March Scopes Canada. The Dion Optical Design line of rifle scopes has been a scope for all your hunting and shooting needs. Find Doug and Niza at marchscopes.ca.
And there you have it. Just like
There we
that,
go.
we're on to the truck guns. Do we want to do current events first and get that out of the way, or do we want to do truck guns first and not talk about anything else?
You know
'Cause we
what?
took up the whole
Let's
time.
do the events
Per-
first because we can get
Yes.
past that.
100% agree. Let's get our blood pressure up right away.
Okay.
Elevated.
Let's just mention one that we can just mention and then move on from, and that is the house robbery in York. Lady robbed by two homeless people. Sorry, the news described them as currently unhoused.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So two homeless dudes, one of which who was out on bail. So
Impossible.
yeah,
How'd
I'm
that
pretty sure it's
happen in
breaking the
Canada?
condition of your bail. Would it not be?
oh man, somebody should have told him that before he broke into her house. He probably wouldn't have done it.
I'm sure if he realized that, he
Yeah.
probably would have chosen a different path.
Become a doctor,
Exactly.
probably.
Yes, more than likely. Some
Or a
sort of Mother
politician.
Teresa humanitarian. Yeah.
So this Gandhi like figure and his other currently unhomed buddy break into this woman's house, and it looked like they made her fill up a because there's video of it. So it looks like they made her fill up a suitcase full of valuables. I assume. I don't know if it was their suitcase or hers. And then they just like took the suitcase and
Well,
you know,
they
robbed
knew
her.
if they went there without a suitcase, they'd probably get charged for a bag. Yeah, just like at the grocery store, right? Yeah.
25
used-
cents.
They're
Yeah.
used to flying Flair Airlines.
Mm.
So anyway, they did all of this while holding her at handgun point.
Mm.
Don't they know
So
they
the-
need an ATT to do that?
Well, and there's no word on whether the guy holding the gun, whether it was his gun or not. So they may have even transferred it illegally.
Well, my old man used to say with things like this that seem fairly obvious, I'll give you three guesses and the first two don't count.
I think you may be onto something.
My first guess is gun control works, okay?
Mhm.
Yes, that's all.
Yeah.
You've seen it here first, folks.
Anyway, so that happened.
Yeah.
What else is going on in the world? I don't
You
know.
know
Has
what? There was
anything else
a,
important happened?
I believe there was a lady in Saskatoon, near my area, that experienced much the same thing. Somebody broke into her house, and I can't remember the details. I just quickly skimmed it. Um, but he was stopped in the vehicle that he stole from that lady's house. Now, she, according to the Toronto police, did that 100% correctly. She kept the keys to her car near the front door. So I guess it's working. You know, now that all criminals have watched the CTV, Toronto News, what was it? The Toronto chief of police, I believe, came out with, you know what? Crime is on the rise, and save yourself some trouble. If somebody's breaking into your home, just have the keys near the front door so they, just grab the keys and go. I
Can you
guess if
believe they
you're
said
lucky.
that?
Yeah, isn't that absolutely brilliant? And we'll just sit back in our offices here and you can phone it in. No big deal. We'll save on our carbon footprint by not dispatching a vehicle or an officer to your residence. And yeah, all's good. We'll just do the paperwork in-house, easy peasy.
You know, right after they said that, there was a guy made a TikTok meme where it's POV breaking into my car or whatever, and it shows the guy he's walking up to the
Yeah.
house, and there's a note posted on the front door, and it says, "It's okay, the keys are in the car." So he turns around, he goes into the car, he gets into the driver's seat. The owner's sitting in the passenger seat, and he says, "Oh, thank you for
Right.
choosing to steal my car today. You know, would you like a drink?" Or just serving him,
Right.
just serving it up on a
Yes.
platter to him. Yeah,
A breakfast sandwich for you today.
yeah.
It's not alcoholic. I wouldn't want you getting a DUI as you're stealing my car.
That's right.
Right.
That's right. That's hilarious.
Uh,
Jens says these 9mm key fobs are the best. I didn't know that's how we measured key fobs, but
well,
I do now.
naturally, Chris, you got to catch up here.
Yeah.
Yeah, all them Browning high powers had that little loop so you could put them on your keys
Right.
because that's about all they were good for.
That's what they were for. They were a key loop. Yeah, actually, you guys just reminded me there was a shooting in Saskatoon. I think it was Monday
Wasn't
or
me.
Tuesday, or no, it happened Sunday night. So I heard it on the news Monday morning. So apparently, what happened? Anybody familiar with Saskatoon? You know, on 20th Street where St. Paul's church is, or is it St. Paul's? No, St. Paul's is the hospital. Several blocks east of that is that red brick
Right.
church.
Right. Yeah.
Saint something or another, some pontiff saint dude's church, and it's where a lot of drug dealers and gang members and prostitutes hang out.
Saint Unhoused.
Saint Unhoused
Yes.
Street, yeah. So some kid, some teenager, was shot dead there shortly after midnight on Sunday, at the beginning of this week, and they interviewed his mother. And you know how the news loves to always get a soundbite from the person and then they paraphrase what the rest of what the person said? Because
Sure, we'll fill in the
some
blanks
reason
for
they
you,
can't
ma'am.
speak for
No
themselves.
worries. Yes. Yep.
So they let the mother say her piece, and then when they're paraphrasing her, they say she said that her son was involved in gangs, but nothing that would warrant, or I think they said nothing that would warrant being shot over.
Mhm.
Because
I'm sure he
generally
was,
speaking, gang activity is perfectly safe.
It was probably the soup
Mhm.
kitchen gang delivering
he's-
blankets and food to the unhoused.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know what they say? Live by the sword, die a peaceful death in old age. That's
No,
what they
I
say.
believe that's correct.
Nobody
yeah.
says that.
Yeah.
Ancient warrior proverb.
Ancient warrior proverb: live by the sword, die peacefully in old age.
Oh, God. Yeah. Well, anyway, I guess that's news.
That
What else
is
is going on?
fascinating.
Yeah.
Well, do we get into the budget?
Do we have? Well, I guess we have to. We're paying for it.
Yes,
Okay, do we
Uh,
talk about it?
You're
we have
Rather
a
first.
than-
financial investment.
Yeah.
Why don't we just go around the circle? Everybody make your comment on what like your highlight of the budget was and what you think's going to happen. Start with Mike.
I from what I believe is we bought the building the CBC is in, and I would think being that they've been around since the 30s that they would have at least paid the mortgage off by now, but apparently not. So now we own the CBC building.
They're
Which I'm-
participating in the CHIP home mortgage program.
Reverse home mortgage.
Reverse home mortgage. You betcha.
Are
We
go-
need
are
we
going
need to
allow the unhoused.
need to send those bonuses out.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chris. You're going to allow what? Me to
No,
talk?
I wasn't making a comment of worth. It's okay.
I'm sure they could like turn them into apartments or something
They
for the
probably could.
unhoused.
But you know what? Those greedy capitalist landlords would probably just buy it up and turn it into rental properties and jack the prices up. Which is why we're going to create a renter's bill of rights.
Does that include the right to completely trash the place before you leave?
I know, right? Actually, yes, it does.
Mhm.
You know what?
A minimum level of trashing, actually, it includes.
Because
We could
you shouldn't
identify as
have to pay.
squatters.
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
at least break one major appliance before you leave, or you will be charged for it.
As long as you say Opa while you're doing it, then it's kosher.
Mm.
Boy, there's a mixture of cultural metaphors,
Oh
huh?
wow, no kidding. Okay,
All right.
1AB uh, says halal mortgages. Okay, so there's a bunch there, and of course on the surface, it seems like any Muslim can get a mortgage without paying interest. But I thought it was cleared up that um, uh, really those types of mortgages, and it's all around. It's because of that religion, they're supposedly not allowed to pay interest on a fucking loan. Like, I guess in the Quran it talks
It's a
about
tenet of Islam.
loans.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, whatever. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. Um,
Nope, different guys.
anyway, the
Just,
halal.
yeah. Well, Jesus Christ is involved in Islam. Just,
Mhm.
yeah.
You just don't you judge me, you sons of bitches.
Mhm.
The halal mortgages. It's it's been shown that the interest actually gets tacked on to the principal in the end. So there's a lot of people, reactionary people, I guess, and you know what, somewhat rightly so, that they thought that there was special treatment for one group. And you know what? I think in a way, there
I
is.
hadn't
Why
even heard
why
about this.
are they singled out for this in the goddamn Canadian budget? You know, if that's what a bank chooses to do, call it whatever you want. Um, that's what they choose to do for certain people. Fucking give her.
So wait a minute.
But
Are these actual interest-free mortgages?
technically, I suppose, at least on paper, I guess yes. However, they factor in the interest over the entire term into um, the prime lended amount. So
So it's just
if we
smoke,
got a
mirrors, and
mortgage for
appeasement.
$250,000, right,
Yeah.
and we pay, I don't know, for easy figuring 5% interest on that mortgage over the term, right,
Hmm.
would equal X amount of dollars over 250,000.
Hmm.
So uh, what this halal mortgage does is takes into account that final price, um, or at least this is what it's reported to do.
Yeah.
That final price with interest now becomes your principal.
That is so
So
silly.
instead of the $250,000 principal loan, mortgage, whatever you want to call it, it's now $312,000 principal, or whatever 5% on top of $250,000
So
looks
where
like.
where
Could
does the
be.
budget come into this? Like, what is the government pitching in?
Uh, that's a great question. That's a great question.
Hmm.
Now, I should clarify, I thought it was in the budget. I do not 100% know.
Okay.
It's just one of the things that came up very, very recently in the past several days, right
Hmm.
around the same time that the budget did. Whether it's in the budget, I don't know. I didn't look into it that deeply, but it is a topic of concern and conversation these last several days.
Interesting. Hmm.
Mhm,
All right, Derek,
mhm.
what's your big takeaway?
My big takeaway on the budget is basically the Liberal Party spending money to buy favor in the polls. It
Well,
seemed
that's
Yeah.
very
something
much
new.
so that way. Let's throw money at people and hopefully they'll like us again. Unfortunately, I haven't gone into a whole lot of depth, but there's also I know the big capital gains stir up.
Yeah.
So that's presenting some a little bit of
Oh yeah.
hostility
Hostility.
towards the upper echelons of the upper
Hmm.
classes and big businesses too,
Well, never
which
mind
made.
just that. Like, it might affect small businesses like
What
mine
about the
too.
little guy? Yeah,
Mhm.
that's really gonna hurt. I think
Yeah.
capital gains went from I think it was 50% up to 66, I believe, or 63,
It's
something like that.
absolutely garbage.
Yep. So
Yeah.
the middle class is doing great though. Oh man, I'm telling you, the middle class is disappearing.
Well, that's wordplay. It's what is middle class? Well, to them, Trudeau, like I'm
True.
middle class. Like, yes, with your trust fund, you're
Yeah.
middle class.
Mm-hmm.
There's also the obvious one in the budget that we should probably mention: the 30 million
Yes.
for administration of the federal gun buyback. There's air quotes for the audio listeners.
Mhm.
Yeah, $30 million to stand around and go, hey, do you guys want to do it? Like,
Right.
There's
How
like
many more
30
permits do we need
people.
to apply for? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not even that. It's like, hey, do you want to do it? No. Okay. Another email here. Do you want to do it? No. No.
Yeah.
Another email. Oh, go fuck myself. Oh, okay.
The wording is also interesting too. It's to basically buy these guns so they don't get stolen and
Yeah.
become crime guns. It's like,
That-
wait a minute.
So
So many
I've said it.
inconsistencies.
That's
Oh, my
like
God.
confiscating all the alcohol so nobody goes drunk driving.
You know, I've said it
So-
before here, and I'll say it again. Back with the long gun registry that started in '94, I believe. When was it? When did Harper take it out, abolish it, or whatever?
It was like
Discontinue it?
2014,
Okay, right.
15-ish, somewhere in that area.
So
no, earlier than that.
Or 14.
regardless,
Yeah.
it was discovered that so they had subcontractors doing some work with the gun registry because the office in Miramichi was, I guess, loaded up enough that their workload was too much, so they hired some people to do it. There was a company in Edmonton back then sometime that was doing these processing these licenses and transfers and all that kind of stuff. Guess who owned them? The Hells Angels. Now, if there's anybody I want to know that I have guns in my residence, it is those guys.
Maybe
Well,
they're just trying to diversify their portfolio.
So I guarantee you stuff like
Mm.
what's going to happen here, because they can't find anybody to do the gun confiscation. And let's not mince words here. It's not a fucking buyback. What they're proposing, if it ever does get to, if it ever does get mobilized, it is a goddamn confiscation. Now, the legitimate businesses that are passing these up, and the government of Canada can't find anybody to do this work. What do you suppose might happen? Any guesses at all?
They might go missing.
Well,
No, I'm
there's
sure it'll
that.
work out.
But how about somebody, what do you say, criminally minded, might have an
Criminally
enterprising
incentivized.
idea.
Create
And
a
say,
shell
"Hey,
company.
we can do this, and I can put together a snazzy proposal, and away we go. Guns, guns, guns."
This is reminding me of I think it was the early 70s or mid 70s when the Rolling Stones thought it would be a good idea to hire the Hells Angels to do security at one of their concerts.
Yeah.
And they ended up like stabbing a bunch of people and causing a riot.
Glorious.
You know, it's like-
Yeah.
it's like, does nobody remember history?
God damn it.
It's just like-
Didn't do the background checks.
exactly. Well, I'll tell you, my big takeaway from the budget was disappointed. I really thought that there was a chance that there would be a no confidence vote. And I suppose it's still possible, but I really thought there was going to be a no confidence vote and we would end up going to an election early. I was really hopeful for that.
Yeah.
But once again, fucking empty head, fucking Jagmeet, fucking whatever name I want to call him this week.
All there
Shit
is
talks
a
the budget
firm
and
fucking
starts
breeze
talk-
under that turban.
Ugh. and starts talking before the budget comes out about how we're not going to support this any longer, we're not going to support that any longer. The
Yeah.
liberal government is corrupt, and this and that, and the whole other fucking ball of wax. To the point that Trudeau is responding to it. Is, oh, I thought he liked my climate tax, and then the fucking budget comes out, and he's like, yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in there that, that was us. We got that done. All the corporate
Yeah.
greed stuff, yeah, that was us. And he makes this fucking speech. He's like, and behind every, or behind every, what is it? Behind every young person who wants to own a home or something like that is a greedy corporate landlord just trying to buy another yacht. And I'm like, buddy, I think you should take a look at your fucking Rolex. Your time is up. Get off
I mean,
the
those
fucking
things ain't free.
stage, Gucci boy.
It's
Anyway,
amazing.
fucking-
Like I have a hard time honestly imagining a more useless fucking human being than that
Oh.
man right there.
Didn't Pierre Poilievre just like a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago say, man, like, can we just hurry up and get Jagmeet and the NDP their pensions so that we can actually have another election?
Oh, did he?
It's like,
Just take the lump now, cut your losses and run.
yeah, well
Right.
played. Anyway, that was my big takeaway. I was quite disappointed by it because now that it's come out and he's like, oh well, this is ours and this is ours, and oh, it's good that they're listening to us because we brought this to Canadians. You fucking hack.
This is what Canadians want.
Yeah, and now we're probably waiting till next year to have an election.
Yeah. Yep. I didn't see it going any other way. I thought it was I mean, it was a good gesture, but ultimately I think it was like pissing into the wind. You expected maybe there's a chance you don't get any on your shoe,
Yeah.
but here we are knee deep in it.
Yikes. Anyway, hey, let's move on and talk.
Yeah,
about
let's
truck
do
guns, 'cause
that. I
that's
think
really what we're
everybody's
here for.
bored and yeah.
Depressed.
Okay,
Yeah.
this was primarily your guys' idea. Why don't you guys go first? Let's talk about truck guns.
Well, we could start with we should define what a truck gun is, and for those of you that don't know or may want to know, it's the idea that if you're gonna have a truck, first you need a truck. Step one. Two, if you're gonna have a utilitarian firearm with you, what do you keep in your truck, and not leave it in there overnight?
Is that really true, Mike? Do you absolutely need a truck, or is a Subaru all-wheel drive okay?
What about a?
In
I
We
guess
don't
we
want to
can-
be exclusive here.
Under
Yeah.
no circumstances is your Subaru okay.
See, if you had a Toyota Hilux, that's a different story.
If you had a Toyota Hilux, it's going to end up on the front lines in some Middle Eastern war somewhere.
Okay, what about a Lada Niva? Like
Oh,
that is
yeah,
a borderline vehicle
Yeah.
if I ever saw one, right? So
I had a buddy in high school. He drove a.
That's
Lada all through high
truck
school.
guns in a Lada. Truck guns.
Guys, you
And
can't fit
plural.
anything other than a compact pistol in a Lada. That's how they work.
I have video proof of a lot of guys in full kit with AKs fitting into a Lada.
they have really
You'd be
big shoes
surprised.
and red noses and funny hair.
Okay, so, does your definition of truck gun stand then, Mike? Like all idiocy aside, or are you actually contesting his definition here, Rooster? Do we have a fight?
No, I was merely asking for a clarification. If we're going to assign criteria,
Gotcha.
well,
need
you
to
know
be
what I'm
correct.
like. I'm pretty black and white. Yeah.
Like you're saying, if
So-
I take the truck gun into the tractor, it becomes a tractor gun.
That's a good one. That's a good one. I'm not sure there, but you know what? Carrying a gun, especially a long gun, into a tractor it's almost a cultural thing, to be honest. It's and how did that farmer get into the tractor in the first place? He drove a damn truck out to the field. So I think there's a decent amount of crossover there.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
it's
a firearm you would take in your vehicle with you. It's like,
All right.
say you're going in BC, gas is expensive. I can understand it, but you like to go hiking. What would be
Right.
your utilitarian vehicular firearm that accompanies you? And what should it have on it, or what should it be, or how big should it be? Like, we need to define these terms in order to get a proper definition of it.
Purpose and cost.
Purpose, utility, cost, caliber.
So I think
You know what?
it needs to be multi-purpose,
Yes.
relatively inexpensive, tough, because it's going to see a little bit of abuse, a little bit of neglect. And I think and affordable generally on that end, just because, you know, it's not going to be a safe queen. It's going to be rolling around the back of the truck. So I think those are 4 criteria right there.
I don't think it has to be affordable.
It's fair.
It probably is affordable.
Affordable is dependent on your means anyway. I mean, for some people that's going to be an SKS back when they were $125. For some people it's going to be a honey badger.
So I'd like to remind people, I think, at this point, that we're talking about truck guns, not necessarily truck rifles. I think that's where this mostly seems to be heading. Bending Ballistics says at least 16 inches, and depending on area, either 5.56 or 308. Just my opinion, he says. Now, I can see that where we go with rifle. My mind keeps going back to a shotgun. Now, if we use the criteria of value or cost, whatever, man, you can find a ton of shotguns for pretty cheap. You can do a lot of different things with shotguns. You load them up with slugs and buck, or bird shot, just to put a sting in a critter. Your range isn't all that great, but if you want to, Yenzi, the number 1 truck gun in Toronto seems to be the Mac 10. Well, that's allegedly.
That's not true, actually. It's the Mac 11. It was Mac 11s they were 3D printing.
And are they trucks, or are they stolen BMWs?
I think they were literally just walking down the street with them, but whatever.
Probably. God,
I believe recently unvehicled is the correct term.
Currently unvehicled. Okay, sorry.
You know what?
With your shotgun idea, because I'm
okay,
with you
so
on it.
I like the shotgun idea. It's pretty versatile. You can do a lot of things with a shotgun. Very useful. Now, knowing me like you guys do, I am through and through a rifle guy. Personally, unfortunately, in Canada, we are very restricted with what we can actually own. Personally, I'd like to have a short-barreled AR-15, but that's not possible. So I would probably go with a 5.56 in probably a 16-inch, probably collapsible stock, nice, handy little rifle. Either that or a short-barreled-ish lever action 45-70. In my mind, there's a great amount of fuck you in that gun.
Now, hang on. Are you talking? Sorry, with these answers, are you talking like reality, or are you talking like dream scenario? Because your 16-incher is not legal to carry as a truck gun in Canada.
Sure it is. It's just as long as your overall length folded is greater than, what is it, 26?
You're talking about a semi?
No. Sorry. Bolt gun is what I was going in my mind.
When you said 5.56, I assumed you were talking about a semi. Okay.
Sorry, what happens in my mind brain doesn't always get out my mouth.
The mouth brain.
What happens in your mind brain doesn't always leave your mouth hole?
Yeah, but
what, a bolt gun, really? A bolt gun?
I'm gonna second Rooster on that one too.
Yeah.
On the bolt gun. Yeah.
I could see that in a well, I guess that's the other question here. Like, are we talking urban or are we talking rural?
Well, sure. So it it really
Wherever your
depends
truck can
on the
go.
scenario. Like
Hmm.
if we're talking just every day, society's not erupting, anything like that, then a bolt gun would please me just fine.
Hmm.
Now, if things went downhill and you kind of got to watch your back all the time, okay, even if I did pay attention to current laws in a scenario like that, my second, I suppose, assuming that we're paying attention to Canadian laws, would be
Yeah.
a lever action, a big lever action.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree with that.
Hmm.
And I suppose that like all things, context is king, isn't it? What is an H&R?
Harrington and Richardson.
Okay,
Harrington and
describe that
Richards.
to me. So, just
And
for our audio listeners,
Harrington Richards,
Christian
yeah.
says, if we're
yeah,
talking truck hunting gun, like my H&R and Ruger number one, short, handy, and pointable. So, what is an H&R then?
they're falling block. No, sorry, the H&R is a
It's
break
a
open, I
break action.
believe.
Oh,
Yeah, they're both single shot rifles.
oh, I got you. Okay.
Sorry, Uke.
Mhm.
Duke
Uke
says, what
says,
kind
"What
of
kind of
nerd?
nerd pays attention to laws?" Well, currently, this
Mhm.
guy.
This nerd, yeah. The type
Yeah.
of nerds that are on national podcasts.
Yeah, yeah. There are some restrictions may apply.
Your
Yep.
results may vary.
RCMP, you didn't hear that.
I'll be honest with you. The
Yeah.
first thing I ever did before the
Uke's
first
just
time,
kidding.
whoever's assigned to my case currently, these are all just jokes.
Right.
So here's another interesting question, and it's a little bit of a sidetrack, but it was in relation to your 4570 comment.
Hmm.
Bending says in high stress, you want anemic recoil. 4570 recoil rattles a lot of people. What
It
do you
does.
guys think about that? Because I don't necessarily agree with that when you're talking about a high stress situation.
Well,
What do you guys
personally,
think?
I think like a 4570 in most cases is a nice heavy push rather than that snap you'll get from you know, um, something like a 338 mag or 300 mag or something reasonably similar in recoil.
Hmm.
Yes, it will put a lot of people off. And you think about um, people with handguns, like down in the States, self-defense situations where they have a 10 mil or a 45 or something like that, or a 40, I guess is kind of infamous for snappy recoil.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, in a panicked situation, if you're not hitting what you're aiming at, good luck to you.
No, I could understand that if you can't handle the recoil. If you've never shot the gun before or some other situation like that, it's like, you know, Mike Tyson's quote, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. I mean, the
Yeah,
whole point of that quote is that most people, when they get hit, it, like they can't handle. I mean, the point of him saying it was that they can't handle the power or what it feels like when I hit them. And like, so, but people specifically train to become used to that. And there are people, many professional fighters in this world, who, when they get hit, they do keep the plan that they had in their head because they specifically trained for it. Maybe not when Mike Tyson hits them, but and maybe Mike Tyson
yeah,
is the 50 caliber example. But I don't think a 4570 is that crazy anyway. And I also think that if you're not practicing with your truck gun, then what the hell do you have it in there in the first place for?
okay. Ask yourself this, Chris. Of the what is it, 2.3 million firearms owners in Canada. Let's leave the US out of this for now.
Hmm.
How many do you suppose earnestly train with their firearms?
Oh, very few. But that
Mhm.
doesn't mean, but we're talking theoretically though, like,
Hmm.
So if you can't handle a 45-70, or if you're not going to practice with your gun, then okay, don't put it in your truck. I have no problem with that. But if you're going to practice with it, and you're going to get to a point where you can handle it,
Mm-hmm.
I think the thing that I wasn't sure about, and I'm not like, I'm not saying like fuck you bending. I'm just saying that where I disagree is that you want, where the statement, in high stress you want anemic recoil, and I'm not sure I agree with that.
Would adrenaline not take over in that situation though if you're in high stress?
Well, and that's my point, right? It's the same thing as you know, you ever just been sitting there and somebody punches you in the thigh, that gives you a Charlie horse?
Yep. Yep.
Or if somebody said, like, if you know that it's coming,
Right.
it's
You can
two
brace.
very different feelings.
It is.
Mhm.
And when you're, I can tell you from copious amounts of experience, when you're sparring with someone, just the adrenaline level of knowing that you're sparring and knowing that they're going to try to hit you, somebody can lay the edge of their shin bone full across your thigh with their leg, not their fist. And there are in a lot of cases, you'll barely feel a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the difference is adrenaline. And you also get those people that, everybody's individual, obviously, but you get people that, they'll flinch if you snap your fingers in front of their face. Then you'll get other people that if you slow-mo camered them getting punched in the mouth, they didn't blink the entire time.
And that's
So, I don't
training,
know.
but with that
Go
being
ahead.
said, how do you train for being mid-trow as you're walking through the forest, taking care of nature, and then a bear comes running at you? Like, how do you prepare for that?
You
You can't
don't.
really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Train
And if
like
it,
you fight, bro.
well, I was just going to say, like, sticking to that same, sport fighting analogy, you can't train to step into the ring with another person who's going to be trying to knock you unconscious with their fists and legs. You do the best that you can, and then you get into the scenario. Now, I'm not advocating getting into bear scenarios. That's a little bit tougher to be able to test yourself on. But there are a lot of things in this world that you just do the best that you can. There's mental preparation, and there's physical preparation, and to what level or degree you can prepare is dependent on the subject that you're preparing for.
You know what? I think we should run some drills this summer out at my range there. Pants down shooting.
Okay, I'm worried, but please explain.
Well, yeah, like Mike said, he presented the scenario that if your ass cheeks over his side of a log, having a deuce, and a bear
I
comes along. Did you miss that?
Oh,
Ah.
is that what your analogy was? You're taking
That
a
was
shit in the
Mike was
woods?
referring to. Yeah.
Like
Oh,
train how you fight, but how do you train for that?
Well, you know what? I can take a log and set it up at the range, and we can start that way. Have the
Just get
beeper and everything. Pull your pants down. Don't fuck around. Pull your pants down. Get over that log. Your rifle's leaning up against something else about
the
4
tree
feet
that's
away.
over there.
Beep.
Yeah.
guys, if I'm
The
about
rifle
to
barrel is the toilet paper holder. You set it right on top, and it's a nice dispenser. Ask me how I know.
ask me how I know.
Yeah.
If I am fertilizing the forest and a bear starts running at me, the taking a shit part is irrelevant. It's it's gonna
Yeah,
whether
it's involuntary at that point.
whether I
Mhm.
intended to take a shit or not, it's
Yeah.
going to happen, and I'm either going to grab my rifle or I'm not.
Oops, there it is.
That's not the issue. It's the pants around your ankles that's the issue.
Are you
So you're
running?
not going to be like, I need to rip them up. I need to go
The
over
shuffle and
there
shoot.
and just
Oh
Yeah.
no, yeah, no. Your penis is going to have a front row seat to either your death or the bear's death.
Well, it's better than
There's no, you don't have time to pull your pants up, but you're not
But
planning
there's
on running either.
there's also the scenario you'll see the bear sauntering, nose to the ground. It's kind of cruising through, so you're not
right.
sure if it's a threat or not yet. You're still assessing the situations. Like, well, do I make some fast movements?
Dude,
Do I make some slow movements?
I
Do I finish my
100%.
business?
And then
I
the bear looks up and
100%.
says to you, "You're not here for the hunting, are you, son?"
In that scenario, I am mid squat with a rifle shouldered, emptying my bowels as quickly as possible. But I mean, I'm not standing up real fast because then I'm going to shit on my pants. But I mean, the rifle is shouldered. Why are we talking
Yeah.
about this? How did
This
we
is a
get here?
plausible scenario.
How did this even happen?
You get out of your truck. You're on the hunt. You need to take care of some business.
I was
So
going to
you
say, where's my truck
find the
now?
old log, and then you
With a-
start taking care of your business because you have a truck gun.
Do I
You
have a
just grab that thing.
4570 or something more anemic?
So this
You
goes
ask,
back
how
to
did
what
it
is a
get
truck
here?
gun?
How does it always get here, Chris?
Pants around your ankles in the middle of forest. How does the conversation go there?
That is why we are the BS podcast.
I guess. Okay, so bringing this back for 1 second then, just so we can have an answer here. Do you guys agree with the anemic high stress idea?
Somewhat.
I give it some credit, but not full credit. Again, a truck gun is kind of a personal thing. I think having something in a common caliber is probably the best, but again, it's kind of up for interpretation. So I give it some credit, but not full credit. 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. All right.
7
Yeah.
out of 10. Okay. All right. For me, I don't know, man. I think I don't even need to have my adrenaline up. For me, it's just a matter of what type of shooting I'm even doing. Remember when we were out at Consort and you guys put a 600 Nitro Express in my hands?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was sitting there and I'm taking my time, and it's all, you're trying to prepare for the recoil because you don't know what it's going to be like. And it felt like pretty heavy recoil. But then when I took the second shot, I just up and shouldered it and fired it without thinking about it. And it was, was nothing. It was anemic, you could call it.
Yeah.
I think
And
it all, yeah, go ahead.
Do you remember that time I took that same rifle, and instead of firing the rear trigger first, I gripped the front trigger, and lo and behold, both shots went off nearly simultaneously. That was great fun. I don't know what the hell would be in there, like 112 foot-pounds of recoil, almost times two. That was fantastic. I had a little cry after that, behind the benches, and a sip of my drink box water bottle thingy, and went back to shooting my small calibers.
I'm trying to catch up on some of the comments. Some of it is
Yeah, there's lots here.
behind, but what was it? I literally. Oh, okay. So Vanya's just talking about shitting in the woods again, apparently. Vanya says, I literally heard a story from one of our U.S. colleagues about that very situation. It wasn't a bear, it was a white-tailed buck that knocked him over thinking he was another buck or something. That's embarrassing.
It could have been worse. Could have thought he was a doe.
Yeah,
Right. Y'all out there hanging your ass in the breeze like that, tell me you don't want it, boy.
Have you guys ever you ever watched the movie
Good
Training Day?
looking white tail right there, if I've ever seen one.
Which movie was that, Chris?
Training Day.
Yes, I think
Denzel
I have,
Washington
but it was a long time ago,
and
right.
Ethan Hawke, I think. When Denzel drops him off at the Hispanic gangster's house, intending to have him killed, and the one you were just reminding me of the scene where the one gangster looks over at Ethan Hawke and says, "Have you ever had your shit pushed in?"
Yeah.
Sorry, I regret it as
Offside.
soon as I said it out loud.
Offside.
Mike doesn't look very good. His camera was frozen, but he didn't look very good.
Ever been to a Turkish prison, Billy?
Turkish? It seems. Yeah.
That was
okay.
on an airplane.
Oh, is that on an airplane?
Yeah, the movie Airplane. Yeah,
Your reference is better than my reference.
I know. It's
Here's an
okay.
interesting comment from Ryan. A truck gun is usually one you are proficient in with, I think he means proficient in almost any situation. Old reliable, in my opinion.
You know what? I would say that's probably best comment of the night so far.
Oh,
Like,
what,
you know how to use it. You know how it picks up, how it swings. You know the power and the range that it has.
mhm.
I would say that's a wiener.
Without giving a very specific definition of what it
Right.
actually is.
Right.
It's the best definition without going over.
By the way, I know we're leading towards creating another Wikipedia entry, but unfortunately, I've been banned by IP on Wikipedia because of last week's shenanigans. I tried
Oh
creating
God.
another account, and it auto banned that account as well.
They have such a virtual stick up their
Mm.
asses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just
Anyway.
have to start publishing our own books.
We can't hardly publish a goddamn stream on time. Who among us is going to publish a book?
You
We
guys
can-
can
we can-
read?
You know, there's services now that will just write transcripts. We can just transcript all of our episodes.
I suppose, yeah.
It'll give
Yeah.
me an opportunity to edit out comments like the training day scene.
I hope it's AI or they'd be asking for hazard pay.
Are we
So-
okay? Yeah, go ahead.
Have we settled on rifles? That seems to be where most of this conversation has headed. I'm a little bit pouty, honestly, that we didn't get further into shotguns, and which is kind of unique because I'm not a shotgun guy, but I can see a lot of good uses for shotguns. So have we
Mhm.
decided that the one of the bare minimum criteria for a truck gun is a rifle?
Well, no, and the reason I say that is the context under most of what we've been talking about this in has been rural, and most recently, rural and hunting.
Mm.
If
Well, we're not
talking,
permitted to talk about anything else, to be honest.
Yes.
but if we're talking dream scenario, or if we're talking about our American friends, I think in a lot of urban, pardon me, I had McDonald's for
You're
dinner.
okay, buddy. Breathe
Yeah.
through it.
Mm.
You guys should smell what it smells like in here
I-
after my burp.
I'd much rather not.
Focus.
How about I just carry on?
Mhm.
There are a lot of urban scenarios that I can think of that a shotgun would be highly valuable,
100%.
Mhm.
Yeah.
and not the least of which would be like a Canuck pump gun with a cylinder magazine.
Okay, so let's if you guys want, let's talk a little bit about pump versus semi-auto
Mhm.
and the whys.
I don't see like unless I'm going like I see a lot of military scenarios where you have large numbers of people where a semi would be useful. You know, like I can understand why in South Africa they had the USAS shotgun for military and crowd control purposes. And
Right.
not forgetting that that shotgun was developed under apartheid. But I think for most civilian purposes, I don't see any advantage to a semi-automatic shotgun.
Mm.
I think one would do just as well as the other.
Yeah.
So
I think the
Personally-
reliability factor. I mean,
right.
is this thing's gonna sit under your seat? Is it gonna get dust in it? Is it gonna get the odd root beer spilled on it? Like, you know, what's gonna
Emphasis on
happen to
root.
this thing? Is it gonna get forgotten there? It's gonna get rained on, put away wet.
Is that
I
a
think
shotgun under
simplicity
under
is-
your back seat, or are you just happy to see me?
Derek, you're making an argument for a pump gun right now
I'm making an argument against a semi,
against
just
the semi.
because
Yeah.
there's a little bit more components there, more wear points, more things to gum up, more things to get grit in them, and whereas a a pump. You can normally
Right.
force that thing if you have to.
If
No
you,
If it
problem.
And
seats, it
some
eats.
semis. What was that, Mike?
If it seats, it eats.
Fucking millennial.
fucking millennial.
Some semis, you have to kind of pay attention to the ammunition that it eats, right?
Mhm.
In order to cycle properly. So
Mhm.
there's that against it. I will agree with almost everything I think that Derek just said. In my particular case, my shoulders are buggered up enough. I can operate a pump gun no problem for, I don't know, 4 or 5 magazines, if I'm doing quick succession stuff. However, after that, it gets a little bit tiring just because my shoulders are in the shape they're in. So a semi-automatic in a high volume situation, is more attractive to me. However,
Mhm.
I do sort of worry a little bit about the reliability aspect.
Well, again, assuming that you're practicing with this thing,
Mhm.
like under what scenario? Because here's the thing: this is what always bothers me about non-gun owners when they talk about fully automatic weapons. A gun is
I'm
only as
sorry, Bendig.
dangerous. Oh, is he getting upset?
I don't know.
Um,
Yeah.
oh, stole my comment without giving me credit. A
Oh,
gun
there
is
you go.
only as dangerous as it can fire accurately.
Yes, very much so.
Okay,
Very much so. Yeah.
and like how often? I don't know how often you guys watch um, military videos. The fact that America was involved in a 20-year long war
Yeah. Yep.
during the post-internet era, there are a lot of conflict videos to be had on the internet. And I think this is pretty well known at this point that soldiers, despite the fact that they have select fire rifles, are often shooting in semi automatic, non
Mhm.
automatic. And that
Yeah.
is because of, like, what is the point in firing 10 rounds if you're only accurately firing one of those 10? It doesn't matter how fast you can shoot it, it matters how fast you can shoot accurately. So if we're talking about a 12 gauge,
Yeah.
in what scenario is the additional um, shots per second, call it SPS, going to outweigh the the accuracy of your shots?
Zombie gophers.
I concede the point.
Okay.
There could be a lot of them coming very quickly.
in
Oh,
in that case,
they're
I
terrible.
I complete in any sort of zombie
Hmm.
apocalypse. I 100% agree with the Canuck engage
Hmm.
because it
Yeah.
even looks the part, and it's a semi.
If we're going zombie, I'm going gray birch.
Gray birch.
The 1022.
1022.
Why?
Oh.
It's light.
It is light. Yeah, that's true.
Very. It's
But when
light.
you finally run out of ammunition and you got to conk one over the head, it's probably going to break.
No. Because here's the cool thing about the zombie apocalypse is in Canada things get cold, so you really only have to bide it out till like summer, and then just while the winter you just kind of beat them with a bat. They're done. Because yes,
I
it's a
actually
virus,
agree
but
with that.
flesh still
Mhm.
freezes, so
Yeah,
we
no,
don't
you're
even have to
100%.
worry about it.
I have made that exact same argument when people have asked me, what are you going to do in the zombie apocalypse? And my answer has always been get out of the city until winter and bring a baseball bat with you when you come back. Or just have a truck and just start driving like a
Hmm.
farmer who's had a fifth of whiskey. Some people need a timeout. I don't know who's.
I think Jens is triggered by the rimfire comment, and
Mm.
well, you guys, I think know my take
Oh,
on
Jens.
rimfires.
the
Hmm.
comment right below that is actually quite valid, though. Rimfire jams. Can you afford that? Even high
That's a
end
good point.
ammunition like the high end SK, Ely, all that kind of stuff. I always get jams. I do.
Well, if I had my Brigera, that's a completely different argument unto itself.
Mm-hmm.
Bolt like a B14 or
My B14 is essentially a semi-auto.
because you just like middle fingering it.
Just
Explain.
That's not. You know what I meant by that?
yeah, Rooster. Remember when we had the Mad Minute at your range a couple of years ago,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it was what 20 rounds in under 60 seconds and like 19 hits.
Really?
Yeah.
It was fast.
kind of crazy.
Isn't that how the Mad Minute was meant to be to run though? By running the bolt with the thumb and index finger and pulling
You
the trigger
use this
with the-
finger, and as your bolt comes down, it basically fires.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Except
practiced
this
the
was
skill
a
that's not-
different. I will caveat this stage had two different targets. So there's a target break and acquisition in that movement too. So it wasn't just the same target pumping rounds into it. This was two separate targets. So
So yeah. So bolt, more arguments for bolt action over semi though, isn't it?
Yeah. Christian
had zombie
D
gophers a while
says-
back.
Yeah. My Remington 579 cleaned house. So we should maybe pay a little bit of attention to Christian. He's been working hard on the chat here. One thing I want to know is he says try DMSO on your Gand. I'm not sure what that is, Christian. I'm intrigued.
Dimethyl sulf. What?
Please clarify. I want to know. Inquiring minds want to know.
I'm googling it right now. Yeah, dimethyl
you know what?
sulfoxide. Yeah,
Sulfoxide. No kidding.
it's an organosulfur compound. Colorless liquid is sulfoxide most widely used commercially. It's an important polar aprotic solvent that dissolves both polar and non-polar compounds and is miscible. What is with these words? In a wide range of organic solvents as well as water, but it
Get
did
the
not tell
sulfoxide
us.
out of here.
Oh,
Huh.
There's a little bit of confusion going on here.
That is advanced chemistry.
it's available as a prescription drug and a dietary supplement. It helps medicines get through the skin and can affect proteins, carbohydrates, fats, and water in the body.
That's all fine and dandy, but how do you get it on your Gand?
What is it? Again?
How do you apply it?
Right there. It says try DMSO on your Gand. It's-
The burning
it's
question: how is it on your Gand?
So you're sitting over the log in the woods doing your business. It's probably the opportune time.
I tried for 45 minutes once, and no matter how hard I tried, I could not get it on my Gand. Try DMSO to help your hand. Buddy's hand is hurt. Whose hand is hurt?
You know what? Is he referring to
This must
Like,
be
if-
this must be something that's going on in the chat. It must be.
like reloading a pistol or something like that when one hand is incapacitated? Is that what he's getting at? I don't know.
Maybe he's going back to a comment. I'm trying to find
Yeah, he
it
might be
here.
referring back to something.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find it real quick.
Yeah.
So I'll take my
Post a
rimfire
black
comment
bear-
wasn't well appreciated then. We can
Well,
say
you know
that.
what? I
appreciate
I can see the benefits to rimfire in some scenarios, but honest to God, and we've talked about this several times before on this podcast that your one gun or order of different guns in a zombie apocalypse type scenario, whatever. Chris is one of those guys that he would take his 22 because of all the thousands of rounds of ammunition you could carry in your pack, and it's nice and light. And my argument has always been, okay, that's fine. You come up with a hard enough target or up against a hard enough target, and in order to dispatch or at least deter that target with a rimfire 22, you're spending a dozen or more rounds trying to do that. Now, with a center fire, with enough frontal area on that projectile or an energy deposited, whatever, you've got to have a center fire. And it's going to take far fewer rounds to do that. And your range is much more. So instead of addressing that problem within feet of you, you can start addressing that problem, however you want to call that, um, at hundreds of yards out before it really gets into panic mode and you're spraying shots all over the place with a semi-auto.
I'm gonna have to change my answer to a CZ 600 trail and 300 blackout.
Somebody else had mentioned 300 blackout a
Yeah.
long time ago in the
on
chat.
a
And
SIG MCX, yeah.
yes, that's right. It kind of struck me. That is not a dumb idea in the least.
Except it is a stupid idea because instead you have to have a custom short barrel bolt action in 8.6 blackout, and that is the true answer
That's pretty good.
because it'll take care of all your ills.
Well, range becomes an issue. And you know what? Both subsonic rounds, I can agree with. However, you'd probably have to travel a fair ways south through the zombie apocalypse to get your hands on a suppressor in order to make it a really effective platform.
Did I say 6.8?
No, you said 8.6.
8.6.
8.6.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Vanio said 8.6 blackout question mark, and he made me think I said 6.8.
Mm.
It's just mind games.
Carly is quite happy with your answers about 22s and zombies because they're apparently like taking down a feral hog. You'll need a few shots. She's very happy that you get it. you understand.
Yes.
Let's back it up here. Like for the most part, we're a little bit off in dreamland.
Oh
But
no,
let's
you
back
don't
it up
say.
here.
We never get there.
For the most part, in our area, you're out rurally, you're on a property. Most of the time, it's predator control. If you're all of a sudden going to be pulling on the rifle out of the truck,
Agreed.
Yeah.
let's be honest here. So I think that's a very, very good argument to lend to because predator control and Dreamland have some similarities.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think a cartridge that is suitable for predator control is kind of what you want. Something that can take out a coyote, I think, is kind of a minimum standard.
Yes. Okay. So let me give you some food for thought. Back when I was guiding in the Yukon, for moose, there was always the consideration that Fuzzy Bear would come along and try and steal the hunter's moose when we killed one. Lots of those guys carried 4570 lever action 4570s, and I'll tell you the only reason for that, for a guide carrying a gun, is for bear defense. Okay, so by and large, the favorite was open sight, lever action, 4570. Lots of grunt, even at moderate, reasonable ranges, like out a little past 100 yards for that. Personally, I didn't have a lot of resources at that time. I found a scrappy old Husqvarna 358 Norma mag that fit the bill very, very well. And that sucker has punch, man. I'm telling you, with a 250 grain bullet at 2,800 feet per second, I wouldn't want to try and catch it. So for the defense type situation, and honestly, I think if I had the resources back then, I probably would have had a lever action 4570 as well. Those what do you call them? The Marlin 336s with the, what are they, an 18-inch barrel or something? That to me is juicy.
Sorry, the which in the 18-inch barrels?
The Marlin 336 4570 with the is
Yeah.
it a guide gun they call it?
Okay.
AB1 actually brought that up in the comments earlier.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, he's a smart guy, much like myself. Yeah. Anyway, there's that food for thought for your your continued conversation, I'll try and shut up here.
But why would you need, like, if we're talking just about coyotes and predator control, why would you need anything other than a 223? Like, why get fancy?
Oh, that's right. Yep.
I'm just saying that's the minimum. I think if you want to go above and beyond, that's personal choice. But I think
sure.
that's kind of the minimum barrier for a truck gun is capability of predator control.
I think I would agree.
For me, I gotta be perfectly honest with you guys. You might find this boring, but I would put a good old fashioned bolt action 308 if we're talking rural. I would just have a bolt 308.
A BCL
a
Bison. That's a good truck gun
no.
candidate right there.
No.
No, the BCL howitzer in 308.
No.
Qu'est-ce que c'est?
It's like it's a bolt gun with like a 9-inch barrel.
No.
I would.
Yeah, BCL
And they can
howitzer.
come with proprietary 20-round mags.
Yeah, no, I still would. I would go with a Sig Cross. I would still go with a Sig Cross. In fact, my hunting gun, I would just throw it in the truck
With your monkey.
with my monkey,
Your truck monkey.
so
Yeah,
we can fling lead and feces at the same time.
And not in that order.
Man, I
Not
like it.
necessarily in that order, but it could be in that order.
We're going to start selling knives and truck monkeys. Storied knives and monkeys.
That's the next story. Is the
So
monkey knife.
here's a question out of the panel.
Okay.
Does anybody here have a dedicated quote unquote truck gun that is that fits that bill and then has occupied that back seat?
Sorta.
I do not, and the reason that I don't is because I'm not out of town enough, and I don't live in a place where I feel like I'm not just being paranoid to have one in town. And I don't want any of my guns stolen, so I don't really want to carry one around urban style. But when I am going out of town, I do generally just throw my Sig Cross in the under the back seat.
Yes. You know what? Pay attention to the chat there. I think we've got some business drummed up already. There's a couple of guys bending ballistics in Yukikazi. Both want, well, they say trunk monkeys, but maybe they misunderstood. We're going to sell truck monkeys. I just want to be clear.
Maybe we should sell trunk monkeys, and they'd be like the perfect, like, you know, for like a seatbelt cutting tool.
Yeah,
like emergency road knife. You call it the trunk monkey.
And some junk in your trunk.
That's actually, I can be honest, I think that's a pretty solid idea. I think
That's
we
a
could do
wiener.
that. I think that's a wiener.
Now, Rooster, you're going to talk about your truck gun.
Well, you guys are probably going to find this funny, and I'm quite conflicted about it, honestly. Depending on the time of year, I have a couple of different things. So most times, if I don't have a specific goal in mind, I throw my 870 tactical into my truck.
For out of town.
Of course, out of town. I don't carry a firearm anywhere in
I was
town,
just
much
surprised
to
that
my
you're going with the
chagrin.
shotgun idea in a rural setting.
So this is a scenario where I don't actually have a whole lot of time or the ability necessarily, time-wise, I suppose, to get down to the range, but I am going to the farm. I got to do some work out at the farm, and you just never know what you encounter, whether it's pigeons in the goddamn barn or a skunk or a coyote coming out of the the Quonset or
Can
whatever.
I watch
right?
you take a 12 gauge to a pigeon in a barn? Because
No. Oh, silly city boy. You wait till they exit the barn first. Otherwise, you're up on that damn ladder with a bale of shingles and shrouded in shame
I thought you were taking care of your pigeons and your barn ventilation problems at the same time.
Right. But I don't have the whirlybird yet, so I got to go to the
Mm.
local co-op to buy the whirlybird first, and then put a hole in the roof.
Okay, now it all makes sense.
Now,
Okay,
in other scenarios where I'm going to the farm doing some work, and I might have a chance to go down to the range and pop off a few shots, or it's in cold seasons, winter, whatever, and coyote pelts are prime-ish. I will take my 223 Ackley. I've got
Mm.
a light stock. It's a 21 and 3/4 inch length barrel on it. It's a Model 700 Remington bolt action rifle. It is handy as hell, and that is currently what the Apex Hunter is sitting on right now that we will go and film some on Sunday out at my range. But man, I'm telling you, that is a wonderful little machine. And I've taken it out actually to 1,055 yards with a 75 grain bowtail hollow point bullet. So, and I think that 75's traveling at 2980 or something like that. I think I measured just the other day. A wonderful little machine. And
are you allowed to measure the velocities on your truck gun?
of course you are.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It's
Who are
allegedly
you?
a free country, okay?
Allegedly.
God
All right,
damn it.
I've been overruled. I'll just sit here and
Mhm.
pick my ass for a little while longer. Carry on, Rooster.
No. I think that's about it. It's a horribly handy little rifle. But the thing is, um, especially close range, and I've done this before with skunks, stray cats, coyotes that come busting out of one of the buildings at the farm or whatever. If you have in your hand a rifle, and I don't care whether it's a 224 thou diameter bullet or a 358 thou diameter bullet, you got to be pretty goddamn on the ball, accurate with that thing to connect.
Yeah, that
Now,
all
a
makes sense.
12 gauge, on the other hand, with 9 pellet buck, or even something like number 2 shot, something like that, or even bird shot, close quarters like that, you can dust his ass and at the very least incapacitate him for a little bit till you can walk up and put a finisher in him. So there's benefits, there's drawbacks.
Yeah, that very much makes sense. Yeah. Although, could you have said that any more Saskatchewan?
Probably
coy-
not
when-
since I was born and bred.
When a
Yeah.
coyote comes busting out the barn,
Right. So this is for bending and uke. Coyotes.
But it wasn't just the use of coyote. It was when they come busting out the barn.
Oh, did I say that? Well,
Yeah.
my hick is showing a little bit, I guess. So
When I see
I could have used my
when I
my
seen that
Spanish,
coyote,
my coyote.
coyote,
That means shut the fuck up, Chris.
I'll
All
tell you
right,
there,
Mike.
bud. When I seen that coyote come busting out that barn, I said, "Whoa!"
Oh, geez, eh?
That's a yote right there.
Murta, get the shotgun.
Then I seen them run across the field that yonder.
Anyway,
All right, Mike. Let's go to your truck gun. What do you got?
This might surprise some people, but sometimes I will, if I'm going out, I will take my 357 Rossi lever gun.
That sounds like fun.
It is fun and it's light because sometimes I'm carrying it with me.
Bending's right on it. Oh yeah, you betcha.
Yeah, but
Okay,
that's not Saskatchewan. That's Minnesota.
Well, I know it's close.
And
I
a
mean, the
little
thing
bit of
with
Wisconsin.
Canada and Minnesota is like they're touching.
Oh, just the tips.
Just the top bit.
Yeah, just
Okay. So, that's it. Just a Rossi.
I'll if I'm going out and if there's going to be coyotes or something, or if I'm going to do some yard work, I'll have that around.
Okay.
So what's the range on a? First of all, what's the bullet weight you shoot out of your 357, and what is the range of said projectile?
And have you measured the trajectory?
I have not measured the velocity of
Did
it.
you?
I mean velocity.
I went to the
Michelob
store.
Ultra come out my nose.
I went to the store and it said 357, and I said yeah, and then I'm like, that box works, and that's what I ran.
And I
So that
custom spec'd every angle of it.
Mm.
I custom
Right,
spec
yes.
every angle of that box as I walked out the store with it. Just that Hardy Levolution.
Mm.
Okay.
Did you cryogenically treat it for 24 hours?
I hammer forged it actually.
Shit. Can't hit a goddamn thing, but
Mm.
Titanium chrome lined hammer forged.
3 engines with spoon motors. Titanium valve springs.
oh my god.
That sounds great. I've
Yeah.
always wanted titanium valve springs on a lever action.
You get some of them Gallo 24 or Gallo 12, you just be laughing.
Love it. All right.
For those
Derek,
that
what about
don't know,
you?
it was a Fast and Furious reference.
I
My
didn't
truck
get it.
gun is a Ruger American
Okay.
in 5.56. And it's in an MDT field stock. So it takes the AICS mags instead of the AR mags. And then I have a just a cheap budget written scope that Chinook Arms hooked me up with. And yeah, that's kind of my utilitarian truck gun. Again, it's a relatively inexpensive rifle, ammunition that's good for varminting. The field stock from MDT is cheap yet robust, and yeah, cheap optic on it, but still does the job for just about everything you need to do. Need to shoot a coyote or introduce somebody new to shooting or whatever. Have it on the campsite. They'll do it all.
Cheap yet robust.
Wait.
Wasn't that the headline on your Tinder profile?
Let me write that down here. Just a second.
How dare you, as a
UK Kazi's
Kanakistani.
taking exception to a comment here. How dare you, as a Kanakistani, have a Ruger American?
What's wrong with that?
They don't make a Ruger Canadian.
Yeah, unfortunately they don't.
And Ruger's German. So we're
Get
all
your
in
shit
this,
right,
this
Uke.
melting pot of multiculturalism, didn't you know?
Right, yeah.
It's
We have
okay.
no
It's got a
collective identity.
Canadian stock on it, straight out of Chilliwack, BC. So
Right. Hey, what's the MSRP
that's how you
on
make
that,
the Ruger American a Ruger Canadian.
You put the MDT chassis on it?
It's a Ruger Canadian-ish.
Mm.
So, okay. So we've all said what we have carried. All things being equal, if you could have whatever you wanted, would you?
If we could have just one, is that where you're going?
Well, I mean, not if you could have just one, because all of us are carrying for different purposes here, right?
Well,
So for the purposes that you already do carry, if you could carry anything, would you carry the same thing that you do currently?
No.
What would you change, Mike?
Okay, so you're gonna like this. The 8.6 Blackout that Daniel Defense had at their range day at SHOT Show this year, that short little thing, that
Yes,
I would
Mike.
have
Yes,
that in a
Mike.
heartbeat
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you on that.
because it
Is
doesn't
that
need to be a
times
semi.
4?
Oh,
Are we getting a times 4 here?
not quite.
No?
Close, but not quite.
Okay.
You know what? In a world where I could have whatever I wanted, practically speaking, I honestly think I would
You
go
can't
with an
say-
AR-10 308.
Yeah, okay. All right. I thought
Yeah.
you were going to say like an M134 minigun, but I'm glad you didn't go there.
I said practically. I'm not sure how practical that really is, but yeah.
I've managed to piss off Jens. Ruger is
240.
I'd love a 40 mil Bofors for geese because some of them guys are flying pretty high, and you get a couple of buddies together, we can bag out in like 10 seconds.
Right.
Well, can't you get the munitions that pop off after a distance or time or something like that?
Well, I think you had to set them individually.
Do you? Oh, that
I
takes
I,
way
I
too
don't
long.
know.
You
I
need a
don't own
truck
a Ford.
monkey to set the timers.
Of course
Yeah.
you do.
Of course you do.
And then just hear honk, 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 and then guys are just dropping clips in as we go, and then
Okay, but now bringing it back to some sort of semblance of reality, I can understand the semi-auto 308 rooster. I still don't think I would do an AR-10 though, just because of our winters.
Well, you run them dry or mostly dry. Throw some what the heck is that? Oil on your bolt and all that, and you should be good.
Okay.
Grease is not your friend in cold weather. I can attest to that.
Mm-hmm.
But some thin sewing machine oil in the winter for semi-automatic. At least you have some lubrication there, and it's not going to gum up.
Yeah, fair.
That's my take.
What about you, Derek?
I think I'd go with the CZ Trail in 300 blackout and throw an Apex Edge LPVO on it. Just
You had
because
to
I think
fucking
it'd be
one
nice.
up every one of us. you
Exactly.
son of
yeah.
a bitch.
And also, I think generally with the truck gun, generally you're leaving the truck. So having something compact you can walk a short distance from the truck with, all of a sudden you're adapting to your situation. Compactness is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Okay.
fits a little bit better in the truck too. You got the truck loaded up with your outdoor gear, your hunting gear, or your
Yeah.
you got to go change an
Well,
alternator on the tractor in the field. All of a sudden, the back seat is loaded up with sockets and parts. Having a full gun case in there or a long gun is not the greatest. So something on the more compact side, I think, is
Well,
is
isn't
something
that
worth looking at.
one of the principal design features or the criteria for truck gun be compactness? That's what I
isn't that
envision.
subjective though too?
Yes.
I mean, I agree.
Yes,
with
I
you.
suppose.
Nobody
Yeah.
wants to be pulling out a musket length, gun out of a truck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just for
their
practicality.
34-inch Kentucky rifle.
Yeah, exactly right. I said tally ho. Okay, I'm gonna beat you for ass suckery here, Derek.
All right, let's have it.
I would have, first of all, it'd be a custom build, okay, built by EM Precision Rifles, and it would be a Bergera 8.6 blackout with an IBI 1-in-1 twist 8-inch barrel in a MDT chassis with a Trigger Tech trigger, and it would have the same Apex Edge LPVO that you had. I'm gonna steal that from you a little bit there. I would have bought.
Fair. You had time to think about this and steal.
No.
Steal everybody's
Yeah.
idea.
I would have
Yeah.
bought that Edge at the Shooting Edge in Calgary, Alberta,
Oh yeah.
and then I would have had the little touch-ups and stuff, everything done by Ribstone Gunsmithing in Leduc, Alberta.
Hey, Chris,
Did
I
I
think you
miss
got a
someone?
little bit
I feel
on.
like I
I
missed
think you got a
someone.
little bit on your chin there. Yeah.
It's on my nose. And just as Steve comes into the conversation, I'm kissing ass to EM Precision. Primo.
Perfect timing.
But although I'm kissing a lot of ass with that, you got to admit it'd be pretty good.
It would be.
The
It
only
would
thing
be
I would add to
definitely.
Chris is if you got Oscar to mount the scope properly, and then get a little 45-degree Apex Atom on the side of the 1 to 10 because it's
please,
faster.
Bubby.
God damn it,
Yeah.
you guys! I feel all greasy and stuff. Stop it.
And Steve caught me. I did say Ribstone in Leduc, Alberta. I did say that. That was my mistake.
But you're missing the most critical part. You'd have a nice full thermos of bolt action coffee, because what good is that unit without energy inside of you?
And we were already saying, you guys didn't let me finish. We were already talking about how a truck gun is useless if you don't know how to shoot it. So I would have call sign 6-6 teach me how to shoot it.
Yeah.
Well,
I see what you do. Yep.
Yeah,
Good idea.
and I think you would have me on Overwatch in the hill a mile and a half behind you with a Curtis Custom Action IBI barrel and a March Scopes Genesis on top, just for extra security.
Yeah.
To watch your back.
I don't know about
all that extra elevation.
That's it.
Okay, well, I guess we beat that horse to death. Is there anything else to say about truck guns?
To each his own.
I think that's really what we decided here tonight, didn't we? It's highly contextual. It's one of those things in the gun world where we're going to argue until we're blue in the face that our idea is the best, but it's the best for us.
As long as it's handy, compact, and with enough punch to deal with whatever you can conceive of coming up against.
Mm-hmm. Except for my custom sponsor build, which is the correct answer to all of these questions.
That'd be a great video to put all that together.
That would be pretty amazing. Can you? Are we able? I wonder if we're even able to get Bergera actions.
Well, we know the guy to talk to, I believe.
We do. Mm-hmm. Why would we not build this truck gun, guys?
Like build the ultimate Canadian truck gun.
The ultimate Canadian truck gun.
It'll only take about 7 years for all of us to decide exactly what chamber to put in the damn thing.
Oh, it'd be 8.
No, I got the. You get a dartboard. Everyone puts their caliber on, and then someone just goes yoink, and that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. All right, deal. That's probably the best idea.
See, this is why we're part of the team now.
But hold on a second here, though, because if you guys have like 224 Valkyrie and other idiot cartridges on there, you're just going to ruin the whole thing.
No. Only one cartridge, one chambering out of every bore diameter. How about that?
Steve says it has to be a 375 enabler.
Steve. It's got to be less than 7 inches long.
Mm.
The barrel of the cartridge.
No, the cartridge.
Well, if it's an 8.6 blackout, it could be less than 7 inches long.
Yes, I'm sure. Christian says M60 hood-mounted turret, big old box ammo hanging on the bottom. Don't carry your truck gun, fellas. You're doing it wrong. It's not a carry gun.
It is a Toyota Hilux for a reason.
Right.
Okay. Well, anybody else want to say anything about this before we sign off with all this nonsense?
I think we beat the horse pretty good.
Yeah, I think.
Wouldn't it have been great if we could have created a wiki page? Because there is no Wikipedia page for truck gun right now.
Opportunity lost.
Next mission.
Yeah,
I'm gonna get a VPN and I'm gonna spoof my IP next time, and we'll get it done.
I dare you.
Our definition of the week.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, Mikey Friesen diving in at the end of the conversation. Like we can't
just
we can't
sniping from the back row.
Mikey. Yeah, where were you an hour ago?
Yeah, come on. What is this?
But he says, which truck gun of I think I'm assuming he doesn't have truck guys. I'm assuming he means truck gun. Which truck gun of mine should we talk about? 8.6 blackout, 6mm arc, 223, 300 Balkout. I want to talk about the 300 Balkout. That sounds like an amazing cartridge. That's like a 300 blackout. It's like a 460
cop out.
460 cop out.
That sounds like a bug spray.
You know that he was typing that so fast. That's why he has all the. I gotta get it in before they sign off. Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, so if any of you are still watching us at this point, make sure you throw up the likes, whether you're on the YouTubes, whether you're on the Facebook, doesn't matter what it is. If you want to look for us, you can find us on facebook.com/BS Podcast. Our website is bspodcast.ca. We are on YouTube at BS_podcast. You can email us at info@bspodcast.ca. Hey, Banyak Precision has some merchandise, and the website is...
I think it's just the link in our bio on our Instagram.
Oh,
I actually
shit.
never looked at the website.
Shit, I can't remember what it is.
Maybe I should have had this ready for next week's episode.
Yeah, this is a bit of a
So
thing.
go to
our-
Banyak Precision. Oh, sorry, you
On
were saying.
Instagram.
on the Instagram, and you will open up a link there, and that link for merchandise is... It's a Teespring shop. Let's just load it up here. It is banyak.creator-spring.com.
Are you just making this up on the fly?
No, it's
now?
It is legit.
I have
Promise everybody it'll be up tomorrow.
I have one
No.
more URL for you guys.
Yep.
bit.ly link shortener.
Mm.
You could be bit.ly/Banyak. That's all you need.
Okay. But no, it is a legitimate shop. We set it up a number of years ago.
Yep.
We do have merchandise, t-shirts. Hope to revamp it, but yeah.
So if you guys
Eventually-
didn't get the link, go to their Instagram page, click on the link in their Instagram bio.
Yeah. It is
And-
Banyak Precision, all one word on the Instagram.
On the Instagrams.
Yeah.
Okay, so to everybody else, a huge thank you to all of our sponsors and all of our listeners. Without you guys, we wouldn't have a show in the first place, and Derek and Mike would have said, why would we want to come on that piece of shit when we invited them? We are, of course, talking about Shane and Steve, Miles, Carrie and Cappy, Duncan and Rob, Phil, Doug and Nisa, Vanya and Carly, Oscar and JR. Thank you all an immeasurable amount. Does anybody want to say something before we sign off?
Well, I'm
We
sure.
talk for an hour and 45 minutes. We can let her go.
Good talk. See y'all next week.
Good.
Have a good weekend.
Because I have a shotgun and rifle that I use for, and 22 gauge that I use for ptarmigan, moose, and black bear.
You're so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
You're listening to your weekly dose of BS. Ballistically speaking. The Ballistically Speaking Podcast.